Welcome back to my night favorites, everyone. Thank you for joining me in day 5 of my 7-day series. So this is the morning of day 5. So I went to bed last night with my bantu knots in, and they're all still in there, all nice and dry, all nice and firm. I did this last night on soaking wet hair. So when you do that on soaking wet hair, you will get very defined curls. And I got a question asking me if it hurts to sleep in bantu knots or if it's uncomfortable. I would say that it's less uncomfortable than sleeping with rollers in your hair, because there aren't that many of them and they aren't in so tight that it's pulling at my scalp. If you put them in so tight that it's pulling at your scalp is when it'll be uncomfortable, or if you lay down a certain way and if it pulled a certain way, that would be uncomfortable. But you get used to it really quickly. And if you don't want to sleep in your bantu knots, all you have to do is let them dry thoroughly, a few hours preferably, and then unwind it, but not separate the curls apart. Just unwind it and let that drop, and then you put on your cap and you go to bed like that. And then when you wake up in the morning, and then you can separate it and style it however you want it. And that's another helpful tip. So basically it's Sunday, and Sunday for me is a day where I like to sleep in, a day where I like to clean. I was cleaning my room and doing some vacuuming, and right now I'm giving my dog a bath. That's who's over here splashing in the tub. So yeah, I'm basically just leaving my hair in the bantu knots for right now. I may take it down later just to see what it looks like, but on those days where I'm in the house, where I'm going to be not doing much of anything, I like to just leave it alone. That is absolutely the #1 rule of hair care. Leave your hair alone as much as possible. Leave it alone, leave it alone, leave it alone. Hair grows by itself. It doesn't need your help, doesn't need your assistance. So I do that a lot, like when I'm in the house. I'm sure you do it too. It's like when you're in the house, you're just lounging or you're cleaning or you're feeling a little under the weather. It's like a good day to just leave your hair alone. I put it in the bantu knot last night and I haven't taken it out. It's still all in there. It's still all in there, but I'm kind of looking forward to see what it turns out as. And remember, the longer you leave the bantu knots in, the tighter. She wants to get out of the tub. The longer you leave the bantu knots in, the tighter they will hold. The longer you leave it in there, the longer it'll keep that curl, as long as it's not getting wet or it's not too humid outside. So hold on, somebody, I think she wants to say hello to the people. So say hi since you're over there splashing and acting a fool. This is my baby Joanna. I've had her about 10, 12, 13 years. I don't know, something like that. But it's been a long time, and she's old and gray. She's an old gray lady. So stay tuned for the next segment, and I will be back. Alright, love, so I am back, and it is the end of the day. So I decided to leave my bantu knots in my hair until tomorrow. And Joanna is back. She just had her bath, so she's looking all nice and fluffy and pretty. Isn't she pretty? Say hello. Say hello. So, keep in mind and remember that your hair is always growing. It's constantly growing. Right now, as I'm talking and recording this video, it's growing. In a day, you have 0.5 millimeter of new growth. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you can't take that for granted. You can't rip out a 0.5 millimeter of hair a day, because in a month you'd have no hair. So you got to be mindful of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And the goal of my 7-day series is to get people to do less. Is to get people to understand that you don't need products to grow your hair. If you've been paying attention throughout my 7-day series so far, you haven't seen me using any products other than water, oil, and maybe from time to time a leave-in conditioner. I use a leave-in conditioner as a sort of a detangling spray. That is what I use it for. I don't use it necessarily for moisture, even though it has those moisturizing properties. Water is the best moisturizer on the planet. It is truthfully the only moisturizer on the planet, because in order for something to become moist, it has to have a certain amount of water in it. In order for something to be a moisturizer, it has to have water in it. I'm a person, I believe in going to the source. I believe in going right for the source. I don't use a product that contains a small trace amount of olive oil in it. I'll use pure olive oil on my hair instead. Those olive oil products that don't have any olive oil in them, they're only called that. And if you read the ingredient list, the olive oil itself ingredient is way down the list. There is probably more water and more salt and different forms of sodium in that than anything else. But I don't want this to turn into a long rant. So there's more of those rants coming. But also, I want to tell you how I'm going to take care of this tonight. Tonight I'm probably going to, so that I don't have super tight curls or super short hair, just take down the Bantu knot, unravel it, but not fluff it out, not separate the curls, not pull it apart, not do any of that. Just take it loose so it can have just take it loose so it can drop a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to do that later, and I'm going to put on my satin cap. I hope you're all watching and enjoying Oprah Behind the Scenes for 25th season. This is the show where she shows us behind the scenes and the work that went into creating her last show. The Oprah show came out in 1986, and I was born in 1987, so literally I grew up watching her show, and I felt just the same amount of emotion when it ended as everyone else did. So, you know, it's the beginning of a whole new era, So stay tuned for Nappy Roots, and stay tuned for day 6 of my 7-day series. Good night.